everybody. Welcome to this episode of Disruptive by Design. I'm speaking to Tyler Watkins today. Hello, Tyler. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
As you said, my name is Tyler Watkins. I am a senior regional sales manager for Spirent Communications, specifically in the ATA business, focused on the U.S. federal government. So ATA business, meaning automated test and assurance, but covering Army and global Army and federal civilian agencies. So those are my account focuses, and it's a big one, but yep, that's me.
All right. Yeah, I can't wait to delve into kind of the ATA side of things. I'm not sure I know as much about that, but I always love to kind of start at the beginning. I find people so interesting. And can you tell us of, where you're from and where did you grow up and, how did things begin, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually grew up in a small town in South Carolina, just south of Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, Growing up, it was a little one stoplight town, but it looks a lot different these days. It was the fastest growing county and city in South Carolina for like 10 years in a row. So it's a very busy area.
Yeah, absolutely. I have relatives that are outside of Charlotte, and I know just even that area, and then kind of south along 85, it's just
Mhm.
grown incredibly. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Charlotte's booming, and it's a beautiful city. They've really done a great job of developing it. I mean, it's very clean, very nice. A lot of attractions from the sports teams and all the things to do there in Charlotte. So
right,
it's
sure.
great. It's a good place to go back home to and go visit.
Yeah, absolutely. And then tell us about how you kind of made your way, from high school. How did you pick your college, or what were the things you were thinking about back then of, what to decide or where to go to school?
Man, yeah, I mean, like most people, you kind of have no idea what you want to do, and you're just trying to make the best educated guess at the time. Um, so I attended Presbyterian College first. So it's a small school in Clinton, South Carolina. Um, it I chose this school because I was looking at playing sports in college, had some desires to get into the military, but I also had some athletic successes through baseball and football. Um, had multiple offers to play Division I baseball different places, but I chose football as the sport I wanted to pursue. Um, so uh, I knew Presbyterian College was a small school with an excellent private education. They had a promising future for a football team. They're actually the smallest Division I FCS school in the nation. So it's small, very small with 1,400 students from a college standpoint. Um, but spent 2 years there on the football team. Did some extracurricular activities, and uh, ultimately decided to transfer. I lost a college roommate to an alcohol related incident, um, and that kind of coupled with I guess limited success that the football team had at the time made me decide to reach out to another college that was recruiting me out of high school, and ultimately led to what I communicated with that staff, and which ended up transferring to Coastal Carolina, where I spent the next 3 years. Uh, that was kind of a few different schools, but it was a great experience.
Right, sure. And how hard was the transfer process? I have a nephew who's at Spartanburg Methodist
Yeah, yeah,
playing baseball, and
yeah, yeah.
so he's looking to kind of, make a move. And how hard was that to kind of, move from one school to another, especially with sports involved? And then what was it like
Man,
being a student athlete, I guess?
yeah. So the transfer back then it was very difficult. So one, I was transferring in conference. So at the time, both Coastal and Presbyterian College were in the same conference. So it was in the Big South Conference. So it was an in conference transfer, which made the process even more difficult. Technically, you had to sit 365 days. So you had to take up a full 365-day suspension to transfer in conference to a different school. With college now, the transfer portal and stuff like that, like kids can transfer almost immediately, and there's no real repercussions. I had to get I think it was called like it was essentially a waiver, but it was
Right, like a special dispensation or special waiver
yeah,
to you to keep going in the league, or
yeah, special consideration waiver or something
yeah.
like that, but because I kind of lost my roommate and stuff, so
Yeah.
it was
Uh-huh.
a tough situation to transfer out of. But so anyway, it's very difficult, but it was ultimately very worth it. What was it like being a student athlete? Uh, Being a student athlete was incredible in itself. I don't think I would have had the success um, that I had in college with academics and uh, kind of getting used to the college life had I not been a student athlete. They give a lot of resources to the student athletes, tutoring, making sure they actually go to class.
Yeah.
They made sure we were attending class and had check-ins, and if you didn't um, make it to class or you missed class, then you had to do extra running or conditioning after practice. So some of those things like really holding you accountable made being a student athlete really incredible at college. But being a student athlete at Coastal was beyond incredible. Um, like I said, I was lucky enough to make the right move in my transfer. Between my sophomore year, when I transferred in through my senior year, we ended up only losing 6 games in 3 years. We were at one point the number one Division I FCS school in the country, and we were consistently beating teams by like 50 points. So it's always fun when you're winning. It's The school was incredible, the atmosphere was incredible, and like I said, winning makes everything fun. So um, additionally, the coaching staff in the program were what I was looking for in terms of professionalism and achievement, and really setting the right standard and example for the type of program and type of experience I wanted to have. When I transferred in, actually that year, there was a new coach that had come to the school. His name was Coach Joe Moglia. He had recently been the CEO of TD Ameritrade, and he had made his way up through his career on Wall Street, and then he had coached a little bit younger in his life, but he decided to come back to coaching after a successful career in Wall Street. And in the program that he led was the pinnacle of professionalism. I mean, it laid the groundwork for and instilled many of the lessons, mindset, habits that I still carry with me and carried with me in my post college career.
Right. That's amazing. It's amazing, what the leadership of one person can offer people, especially such a young age. It's very common through sports, but it can be through other activities. But I love that that was not only were you winning, but you were winning and having like an amazing leader. Um, yeah, it sounds like a great experience. And
Yep.
then how did you know you wanted to go into the military, and then specifically, picking the Marine Corps?
Yeah, good question. So I had wanted to join the military, really be a Marine since a young age. I mean, 10, 11 years old. What I considered enlisting straight out of high school. So I'd been in touch with multiple recruiters throughout my sophomore and junior year. Had kind of made that intent known, and that was a plan I was strongly considering. But due to successes on both football and baseball, it led to multiple offers for to go play both sports, and ultimately with a strong influence from my parents, decided to accept those offers and pursue my education first. I knew that that was something I could pursue later. The military, um, had I the desire, and when I graduated, I realized the desire to serve and join those elite group of men and women that serve our country was still very strong. So I made the decision, but had the desire since a very young age.
Right, sure. And then I can only imagine what the experience was like to be, in the Corps. What do you pull away or what do you take away from your experience in the military and being a Marine, I guess?
Um, yeah, I mean, the experience was incredible. I mean, I military service tends to be a good mix of good times and bad places, bad times and good places, and everything in between. Um, Regardless of the experiences we kind of have, it's really the brotherhood, the friendships, the relationships that you develop that I was able to experience and still am able to maintain on a daily basis. You really get a close bonding or cohesion with anyone you meet that has that shared experience. So it's been very beneficial as I in my post-military career, as I start to meet a lot of incredible people that have served before, we quickly have that bond and have that like understanding. The friends, I mean, I still talk to a lot of them daily and weekly, and wouldn't trade that for the world. I mean, wouldn't help a buddy move that was coming to the area just this past weekend. So it's truly an incredible experience, and it's about the bonds and relationships, I think, that really make it worth it.
Right, absolutely. And then can you share kind of your experience of what it was like to transition from military service, from the Marine Corps into the, crazy working world and the tech industry? What was that like?
Man, transitioning is very tough. It's a different level of tough and a different type of tough, from everyone down to privates all the way up to generals. I mean, most times, regardless of how long you spend in the military is the only true career that most people have ever known. They join at 18, they join at 22 right after college, and they spend 8 to 20 years in that. Also, you don't really realize the expectations, and you don't know what you don't know. So your expectations for the other side are often very different from the civilian workforce. It's the civilian workforce is very different from the military culture. However, I like got very serious about it. I mean, I had a young family, wife, 2 kids, so I made myself a professional in terms of starting early. I became a student of the process, learning as much as I possibly could, and networked very hard, and took as much help where I could get it. Luckily, there are a lot of a strong group of folks that are willing to help, especially veterans who have made the transition themselves. There's a lot of knowledge out there. You just have to know where to go find and go get it, and really learn as much as you can. I continue to one of those groups or programs was a company called Veterati. It is a veterans mentor mentee network program that matches veterans based on their profiles. I used it. I mean, met dozens of folks through that. Some that I've been able to meet in person through networking events in the industry, and then I continue to serve kind of in that capacity now, serving as a mentor now that I've crossed to the other side. Additionally, I was able to participate in some incredible programs, including Hiring Our Heroes Corporate Fellowship program, do an incredible internship through there, which I stay in touch with some of the folks I interned with in that program, and received just incredible mentorship throughout the process, which ultimately led me to a successful transition. So the combination of all those things, but it is the process in itself is very difficult.
Right, sure. and we'll definitely put up links to Veterati. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, Veterati,
Veterati. Yep.
VETRATI.
And
Yep.
and then we'll put up a link for hiring our heroes.
Mhm.
Those are great suggestions as resources. And I love how you just kind of tackled it. I know kind of if you're in any career transition can kind of, I know for myself, like just make you want to, just do nothing. But I love how you were very proactive, starting early, became a student of the process and just kind of taking in as much as you can. Oops. And yeah, I and I love that you're frank that yeah, this is hard, you know, but that's really great advice. So thanks for sharing that. Tyler, tell us about Spirent and what does your company do?
Yeah, so Spirent is a provider of automated test and assurance solutions. Essentially, we help make sure technology works for our customers and delivers them the expected benefits of said technology. We provide comprehensive testing, assurance, and analytics solutions for networks, cybersecurity, and positioning technologies. 10 out of 10 of the world's largest tech companies use Spirent. So that's a little bit about us. Essentially, we provide comprehensive testing, assurance, and analytics solutions for networks and cybersecurity. We specialize in making sure their performance, security, reliability of complex communication systems, including 5G, IoT, or Internet of Things, and cloud networks. Our services kind of help the organizations validate and optimize their networks through our advanced emulation, simulation, and automation technology. So kind of like a digital twin scenario.
Right, sure. And then tell us about your role. What are you doing now and kind of what are you responsible for? You kind of did it at the beginning, but
Yeah, I think I covered this briefly at the beginning,
yeah.
but I'll touch on it again now. So again, a senior regional sales manager for the automated test and assurance ATA business for Spirent Communications. And I cover all of global Army and federal civilian agencies.
Right. And what's challenging about the work you do? What do you kind of have to, consider and work through and build, I guess, bridges for solutions for?
Yeah, I'd say two things which probably make the role the most challenging. I mean, there's challenges coming up every day of navigating this industry. However, one is the government purchasing and acquisition process, as most people in this industry have to deal with. It's very long. It's extremely precise, and a lot of time the end user has no effect on their budget or what will be approved that year. So essentially, I'm selling a capability or a solution to someone to solve a problem that they truly have and truly want to get fixed, but they have no control over whether they have money or not. About 50% of the time. Also, the sales cycle is very long, and it just makes the combination of all those makes it a very difficult process to navigate. Secondly, is my account coverage, and I mean that goes with any. Sometimes people need more account coverage, sometimes people need less, but the U.S. government is essentially the largest company in the world. What would be considered a Fortune 1 company? I cover all of global Army, which over a expenditure of over $9 billion in 2023 for IT. Additionally, I cover all the federal civilian agencies, as I said earlier, which based on how you classify FedCiv, can be 100 plus agencies with with IT expenditures ranging from hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. So those two things are pretty challenging.
Right, sure. And can you talk about the skills you need to perform your job?
Yeah, I'd say first off, interpersonal and people skills. Any sales role that you're in is a people business and largely relationship selling. So you need the ability to develop relationships with people. Now we do sell solutions, so we are helping the customer solve problems that they already have. but I have a sales engineer to match those, so I don't need to be too technical. But so luckily, the part of my job of developing relationships is very easy because day to day I get to work with and be around incredible people who are a lot smarter than I am, which is always a great place to be. To be surrounded by folks that are extremely intelligent and smarter than you are is like I said, a great place to be. Um, all these folks are incredible, intelligent leaders in Army and federal civilian agencies, and they're making huge strides in IT modernization and kind of helping support the mission that we have as a country to protect and defend our interests. Separate from that, very strong organizational and professional skills, and then research skills. I mean, there's a lot of information coming out there daily, so knowing how and where to filter out the noise and find the good information in the haystack, the needle in the haystack.
Right, sure. And something I thought of just asking you, are there skills that you're using in your job that you derived from being in the Marine Corps? Obviously, a sense of, integrity and leadership, you're going to easily bring from the military. But is there anything else that you can kind of point to that you use, in your role, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, the organizational and professional skills. I mean, officers in the military a lot is put on their plate from a very young age. So if you don't have those skills, it's going to be very hard to be successful in the military. So those were skills that I developed while in, that I was able to bring with me. I'd say separate from that which is especially important in a sales role, is discipline, resiliency, grit. I mean, your sales roles typically on a day-to-day basis, you have great accounts that you maintain, but you're also trying to find new business, and you're constantly out there chasing, you're receiving no's, you're getting gate kept. People are telling you like, hey, you can't talk to this person. But those skills of discipline, resiliency, grit, make sure that you get up and on a day-to-day basis and do the actions that you need to do. So I'd say those three are probably pretty important.
Right, sure. And you mentioned having a family when you were, especially looking out for them when you were, or keeping them in mind when you were taking the transition from the military to the civilian life. Kind of, what can you share about how you try to have a work-life balance? And I know that's different through, different ages and parts of your career, but I guess, how do you balance all that?
Yeah. Great question. Hopefully I'm doing a good job. But this one's tough. Balance means something different for everyone. Personally, I have very little hobbies, which helps. I eliminate a lot of distractions because I'm pretty happy as long as I get to spend time with my family, train or work out, and have a fulfilling work. So I'm fulfilled by hard work. I enjoy doing difficult things, and luckily the things I truly enjoy and do for myself, i.e. the gym, is probably my main one, or training, also complement and make myself much better in the rest of my life. So it's when I get to go train for the day, it makes me a better dad, makes me a better husband, all those stuff, or all those things. And then I also work a little bit. I'm a big proponent of doing a little bit every day. So even on Saturdays and Sundays, the slower days, but it allows me to kind of catch up and have a better balance throughout the week. So I'm not getting chewed up and spit out. And then when my kids, I find little holes and little pockets of time. My kids want to sit down and watch a movie or something like that, and don't need me to pay attention to them. I could pull out my laptop and get some work done. So it's a lot of lot of balance, but yeah, like I said, hopefully I'm doing a good job.
Right, sure. And it's hard when your kids are growing up.
Yeah,
Um, and hobbies, that can be something you can look forward to, in the future.
yeah. Who needs hobbies?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
who has
hoping
time
I've
for hobbies?
I've kind of always wanted to play golf. But I don't really have time to kind of pick it up right now.
Yeah,
I'm kind of, taking care of my, elderly father, and I've got, things going on with my family, but so I'm like, oh, well, it's a hobby that I'll know I'll do in the future. So that's something I'm looking forward to. So maybe for you, those you can think about things, to tackle, later on that will be fun.
yeah. Get into sales. Everybody in sales likes to
Uh,
go golf. So you get in sales, you'll have plenty of opportunities.
right.
Everybody's always begging you to go golf.
Right, sure. And even FCA, our president, General Susan Lawrence, and she's so great. She's a huge golf fan.
Yeah,
I think herself was an avid golfer, and so she's instituted a new golf event in DC or in our area in
yeah.
August. It's really fun. So I think I'll when I can, I'll go help out and volunteer, and then maybe in the future I'll actually be able to hit a ball.
Yeah.
And then your kids, I'm sure, see what you're doing, and like, do you share with them kind of about what the military was like, or what do you teach your kids about the military?
Yeah, as you would imagine, like, as a former military household, we're very pro-military. I served, my grandfather's grandfather served, my wife's brother served. So we teach them a lot about service, and they both understand the sacrifices that our service members make um, to provide a life for them that we get to enjoy every day. Um, they're both young now; they're 10 and 6, but I would strongly support it if they both decide to serve one day. And I think it's important that everybody puts in a little bit of time of service, whether that's military law enforcement or military service. So, or sorry, law enforcement, first responders, or military service. So it's strongly encouraged in our household.
Right, sure. And what advice would you have for someone young considering going into the Marines?
You won't regret it. If and I'll also give you the line my recruiter gave me to get me in. When I was leaving, like I said, I knew I wanted to. I had desires for military service since a very young age. Considering Army, considering Navy, looking at all the different service branches and all that they had to offer. And my recruiter, the Marine recruiter, which essentially sealed the deal for me. He was like, "Hey man, I guarantee no matter what you do in the Marine Corps, you will be proud to be a Marine. Nothing against the other branches; each do their incredible jobs. But that line right there sealed my fate."
Right.
I was like, "Man, that was a good one." He was like, "I know it was." So yeah,
But I love that you'll be proud to be a Marine, not just while you're in it, but I think your whole life, because of what Marines are.
mm-hmm.
um I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
And then, kind of, now that you're out of the military, and this is kind of, I guess, a daring question, but what advice would you have for senior military leaders, about technology or innovation, based on your experience?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is a very complex challenge. Our senior military and civilian leaders are tasked with a formidable job of modernizing our networks and technology, and continuing to innovate how we serve and protect this nation. They operate daily in a rapidly evolving landscape, where the technological advancements that are happening are occurring daily. The proliferation of information, sensors, and data is unprecedented. Embracing these technologies not merely as tools but as integral parts of our modernization strategy is crucial. Um, My primary recommendation, kind of based on my experiences, is to lean into and integrate digital twin technologies in rigorous testing through their modernization projects. I suggest this not just because of my role at Spirent, but because I have witnessed kind of both sides of the coin. I have witnessed the significant benefits of early and frequent implementation of these technologies, which often results in more successful projects. Conversely, I've also seen when neglecting these strategies can lead to numerous complications and suboptimal outcomes. So by leveraging digital twin technologies, the military can achieve greater agility, resilience, and efficiency in their operations. It allows them to paint a picture of the outcomes that they're looking for. These technologies provide a way to keep pace with the swiftly changing technological landscape, and it ensures that our military infrastructure remains robust, secure, and capable of meeting those future challenges. Integrate these digital twin technologies and rigorous testing into the projects. It will produce incredible benefits in terms of operational readiness, resource utilization, and ensure security and reliability of systems. All of these steps provide an incredible foundation for both innovation and technological advancement. So that's probably the best advice I could give. Like I said, I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen the benefits. I've seen when those strategies aren't implemented, and I think the former outcome is much more desirable.
Right. Sure. I remember being at FCO West. This is way before the pandemic, and just first learning about digital twin capabilities. And I was kind of blown away, like, oh, wow, that's something you can do. You can kind of build a system virtually before you have to actually do, the nuts and bolts of an actual system. And
Yeah.
I thought it was fascinating and so powerful. And have you seen the digital twin kind of, not industry, but the capabilities with digital twin environments improve over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of from a lot of different companies in the space. There's a lot of revenue every year poured into research and development and product development. So we continue to, I mean, monthly we see leaps and bounds, just like the rest of the technology industry is seeing great advancements. I mean, we here recently we came out with an AI emulation product, which allows your systems to be tested of how a language model would operate and what effects that would have on your network, and test the kind of the speeds and the requirements that those models would require of said network. So that was an incredible advancement, and allows for a lot of those projects to advance further, that the government's trying to produce.
Right.
So
Sure.
it's leaps and bounds every day. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great advice to leaders. Harness digital twin, harness advanced testing, and it sounds like they shouldn't ignore the kind of, like you said, agility and resilience and efficiency that will add to everything.
Yep.
Those are most of my questions. Anything else you wanted to offer or highlight?
No, that's good. Just thank you so much for the time. This is great.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tyler. I really enjoyed speaking to you, and thanks for sharing your experience kind of, across your career. It's so helpful to kind of, especially as from your perspective as a student athlete, kind of your journey from way back when, to now. and
Mhm.
industry. I hope people can take a lot from it. So thanks for sharing all that.
Absolutely.